Well, thank you very much indeed for that welcome. It's a real pleasure to be here this morning and to draw together, albeit quite briefly, some of the themes that have already been touched on by our very distinguished speakers. I very much enjoyed hearing Stephen Timms, as Financial Secretary, give his keynote address, and I'm very pleased that he and his colleagues in government recognise the importance of this very timely event. But I'm equally pleased that Mark Hoban, as Shadow Minister, is here as well, because it's important that we do hear both sides of the House of Commons on this issue, and to hear how broad the agreement is between all sides in our politics with regard to the issues that you're talking about. Obviously, the discussions that we're having today, as others have said, come at a time of global economic crisis, and I think it is important, as we've demonstrated today, that much of our debate about our response to that crisis rises above partisan divides. Many of us, of course, have recently been celebrating the stunning historic victory of Barack Obama in the United States just a week ago. And I think one of the messages that he tried to convey during his campaign, tried to convey loud and clear, was that sometimes, especially in times of real concern, politicians and leaders have to stand above political divides in their quest for solutions to pressing problems and challenges. And I think we've heard today that that is something that is important for us here in the UK as it is in the United States, and I think we've heard a very good example of politicians doing just that. Now, I first became involved in the politics of Leicester some 35 years ago. It was a time when the Islamic Foundation was very young. I think we probably started off at about the same time. And I've seen it grow in strength and in stature over those 35 years. In what is now my constituency, and of course across the border in the constituency of the Honourable Member for Bosworth in Markfield, in the work that is done out there. But its work has continued to impress me throughout that period, and I've been delighted to see it reaching first local attention, but then national attention, and of course increasingly now, and it's evident from the participants in our events here, international attention. It's an excellent example of what a research organisation should be. It produces research that's always based on valid objectives, research that is always well carried out, reports and publications that are thought-provoking, that are well written, that are eloquent and knowledgeable, and perhaps most crucial of all, reports that make a valuable contribution to policy debates in so many areas. We're all aware that there's no shortage of research in the world, but there will always be a demand for research which generates imaginative, pragmatic, and well-founded recommendations. And I think that the Foundation should be proud of its work in this regard, and the contribution that it makes to policy debates in Whitehall, and as I've said, increasingly internationally. It's also, and this is something of particular interest to me, matches that research and that policy development with a teaching and education programme that is widely recognised for its quality. And I was very pleased that last year the Higher Education Minister visited the Foundation. And I'm always struck when I myself visit them, and when I see elsewhere, the quality of the publications that they produce for the educational field. And as a former teacher, I'm always impressed, particularly by the work and the publications that they produce for young children. It's something that I know is used in many schools up and down the UK, and increasingly material that is used internationally as well. Publications for children that are profound, that are appealing, and that are, in many cases, challenging, but are very much appropriate for the young people with whom they are used. But I want to turn to today's events, and as I said, try to just draw together some of the themes. I know this seminar follows a two-day event which explored many of the issues around Islamic is Islamic finance. And as we all know, conventional mortgages and conventional financial products are arguably one of the main causes of the global crisis that is facing us. And without doubt, those mortgages, and those with those mortgages, are now bearing some of the worst consequences of that crisis as well. Stabilising the global financial crisis is a top priority for all political leaders. Without doubt, the Prime Minister has taken some decisive action in recent weeks, and I know that he and Stephen and other Treasury Ministers continue to work to ensure Britain's economy is as resilient as possible to global turbulence. But I know that the global economic landscape is of great interest to the Islamic financial sector, and that's why I do, as I have already said, congratulate the Islamic Foundation on their wisdom and indeed the foresight of their timing in organising this event on such an important and vital issue for us all. I recognise that the Islamic finance community has debated this time of global turbulence, the reasons behind it and the possible solutions to it. It is very clear that that economic and financial situation demands new ideas and new solutions. We need governments from across the world to work with the finance industry and others to bring stability and to lead us beyond this time of uncertainty. And I have no doubt at all that the Islamic finance sector has a major role to play in this debate, and that today's event will, I don't doubt, be a key contribution to this. It's interesting when one looks worldwide that the Islamic finance sector has maintained resilience and stability through the times of global turbulence. And there are lessons to be learned from this experience, and I know that the events here will explore these lessons. I very much look forward to hearing about the conclusions of this event, and as ever, to working in future with the Islamic Foundation. Let me just say again, as others have said, how appropriate it is that this event has been organised by the Foundation right here in London, at the heart of the global finance system. I very much hope that the messages from the seminar are ones that will go out from today and help us bring certainty and stability into a very uncertain, very unstable world. Thank you very much indeed.